expect it.
All right, and 5,
Yeah.
4,
Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
What up, y'all? Welcome to His Thing. I'm Kevin State.
That
She.
chick Angel.
Welcome to another podcast. Let's go smash that like button, smash that notification button. Welcome to the bonus. You guys have done good at keeping up the docket. I didn't even have to add too much, but this happened. This I saw in there after. Have you been seeing this discourse about the ICE things? I've been seeing this, and I'm curious your thoughts. Black people, our involvement in the protests.
It's too quiet.
Well, I've been seeing that. We always get blamed for that, but I've been seeing black people be like, "This ain't our
fight."
Our fight. I'm curious. I was just talking to Melissa about this morning. What are your thoughts, Angel?
I have no idea what Black people's involvement has been because I be in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I have heard it in like when I've watched, like, let's say the Shade Room cover it, and then I go to the comments, I will see Black folk be like, "This ain't our fight.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't it." And then I'll see other Black folk being like, but they showed up for us doing BLM. I think that at the end of the day, we gonna find a reason not to just talk about what's actually happening
Mm-hmm.
versus we'll talk. Like, if we were talking about what's actually happening, is that there are people that are being ripped away from this country that should not be ripped away from this country.
Yeah.
But instead we're gonna be like, now see, Black folk, this is what it is. Just like, what is that? How is that helping?
And also, as a history person,
Please.
there's nothing about what's happening in America right now that leads me to believe we're just going to stop right here, guys.
100%.
There's nothing in history that tells me we have sought our goal and we're going to stop. We as Blacks in America, we never feel like the government will never turn their. And also, while we're down here,
Right?
what y'all niggas doing in Inglewood? We don't like, you know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? So it's like, I just don't feel like I don't feel like we should ever stop resisting a government whose sole goal is to oppress. Even if we are not the main target at the moment, because we are always a target. We might not be the flavor of the month, right? And I also thought Trump was like, well, it's
The
backpedal for farmers because capitalism, you can't fight capitalism.
You're going to mess with his funding.
And that's the thing. It's like, he was like,
sending him checks.
You know,
we got to protect our farmers.
Because what you want to do, which has been the playbook since the beginning of time, wealthy people need to keep poor, basically the rest of us.
Undocumented tax-paying workers.
But keep all of us, the people who are not, and I'm talking about 1% ultra wealthy oligarch level. We need to keep you and me and you. Y'all need to be mad at each other. Because you're looking here and looking at Josh, looking at Angel, baby Yodes, then we're not going to be like, hold on, Josh, Angel, hold on. Let's just stop arguing for a second. Do we really have beef? Or do we have a common enemy with these niggas who have 1% of the wealth of the world? So when you say we got to get the bad ones out, you don't really mean that.
No.
Because white people from now, and I just talked about this a few weeks ago, white people who fight about, does that mean you want to talk?
That means I have something that I need to remember that I wanted to say.
I like that.
Jump in.
Oh, sorry. That's also remember, Angel, because, you know.
Does it work?
Sometimes, and other times that thing run right on away.
Go before you forget.
I want to say, when I think about the election, and especially how Black women voted and how Black men voted, and I think about the policies that Trump was putting on his
campaign.
The platforms he was running on. The way we voted was to protect.
I'm very passionate about this topic. That's why I can't. I have to stay for this.
Okay.
I'll be late if I have to.
The way we voted was to protect women and to protect immigrants, because those were two of the biggest things that were on his ticket. There wasn't a lot of focus on what he wanted to do or not do with Black culture. He doesn't. Most candidates don't talk to us, to be honest. They're not talking to us regarding policy. But he's always been very vocal about we're going to get the illegals out of here.
Yes.
He's been very vocal. Well, he wasn't actually really vocal about truly about abortion, because that really wasn't what he ran on. He just put Supreme Court justices inside of the
that we're going to vote.
Yes, right, exactly. But to say that we ain't really aligned with our brown brothers and sisters, the way we voted was to be in line with those people.
That's been a topic on the ballot, not on the ballot, but that's been a campaign topic for the last 2 or 3 presidencies. Actually, back to Barack.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's the thing that be like when I look at Black women, I'm like, we're always voting for the protection of, a lot of times not with us at the very forefront. It's somebody else that's going to get the short end of the stick, and we're like, that's not fair.
Absolutely. That's not fair. Do you remember that video of the Black woman that they was arguing at the campaign, and the white lady yelled at the baby, and the Black woman was like, "Hey,
yo, what are you doing?
Come on, like we ain't doing like you shit. Like that's wild." You know what's made me so proud? My son, Big Wazer.
I messaged him, man.
He had some
He shared some resources.
Some resources about resisting against ICE.
Oh.
And I was like,
I almost teared up, man. I was like, I remember you, little baby.
And you know what? It was nothing makes me prouder as a father. This is on his own accord. He wanted to vote along to Angel's point. He was like, these people going to ban gay marriage. Like, these are my friends.
He's conscious of who it could affect.
Yes, even though he's not gay. Yeah. Like, he's like, this is not right. And it was a hard lesson to learn when he voted for what he thought was right, and that man won anyway. He was like, what?
How the hell he still win?
And then specifically in California, the things he voted against that still got passed, he was like, man. And I was like, hey, brother.
Hey, man.
Well, but it was good because I'm like, I ain't done raising him, but
that's a pat on the back along the way.
We senioritis. At this point, you are.
All right, man, you're still here.
You are who you going, for the most part. I hope you continue to learn and evolve, but I'm always curious about how they feel. But I'm like, as a Black person, and I get the frustration of like it never ending. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I got a lot of thoughts.
So you
put that cam on and you talk. You the Mexican in
so
here.
I'm trying to pace my brain so I can get them out effectively and efficiently. This is the first time in a long time where I feel like I'm throwing stuff in the air and it's just passing in the wind. Because now more than ever, the rhetoric in the narrative is so beyond anybody's like regaining control of. I got people in other states saying like, oh man, it's really bad out there. It's a war zone. I'm just like, no, it's not.
Right.
Number one, but number two, back to the topic. What I do believe is that the entire immigration system needs to be reformed.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
The bullshit of get everybody out. We got to get the criminals out that came during Biden's campaign or during Biden's era of open borders and all that policy. And they're out getting field workers who've been working and paying taxes for 20 years,
20, 30 years, whole life.
Their kids going through college because that's what they've been doing and putting all their money towards. My grandfather came as a bracero, which is a whole awful system to begin with.
Is that the thing you showed on Instagram?
Yes, in the 40s, due to World War II and the lack of labor, specifically in agriculture, in jobs that people didn't want to come back from the war and work. They brought in a bunch of immigrants from Mexico, specifically. That's how my grandpa came, at least. But the process of bringing them in, they would spray them with pesticides because they were trying to make them clean. They put them in terrible living conditions, barely paid them anything. A lot of them didn't even make what they were supposed to. And then still after that, he was still undocumented until he was like, he didn't get status, I think, until he's like 50 or 60.
Wow.
At that point, he had been a business owner of like, he had a couple bars that he would have like in the city. But I mean, he's literally like, I come from that hardworking era. My dad too. So for people to be that age, working honest jobs, to be ripped from their families, like it literally broke my heart. I've teared up so many times this time because it's like, dog, there's nothing we can physically do right now. Thank God that like Trump got a little heat check because Newsom put in, and I don't agree with everything what Newsom says. It's not a political thing. Sure. Newsom put a motion basically to regain control of the National Guard, and that got approved last night from Trump. But what I wrestle with the most is like right now more than ever is the narrative of how they're trying, like even Alex Padilla's getting thrown to the ground yesterday as a sitting senator in a federal building. It's bullshit that you don't know who that is. And he is on one of the boards for immigration that is supposed to be within the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
There's no way you don't like the controlling of what's coming out about this topic and them trying to like create the war picture of what's really happening is so beyond me. It's very painful because it's like, of course, like no human is like should be considered an illegal human in a country that was based off of immigrants.
That's what I'd be like. You act like America was
came here too, bro.
They came here and people was already here. They stole the Native Americans' land. Man. They stole them people's land.
100%.
Trail of Tears. Walked them to their deaths. Confined them to reservations. I mean, decimated their whole smallpox. Trail of Tears. Genocide, and they was like, okay, we'll give you this small piece of land and a casino, and then just kept on. I mean, rolling from east to west, obliterating. Then you bring in Africans to build this country up, subjugate them as human chattel slavery, as property. You use after you decimate the Native Americans. Then you bring black people and step on their necks for 400 years in various different forms, slavery, antebellum, Jim Crow South, post-antebellum, separate but equal, all that, redlining, prison industrial complex. One way or another, black people have been subjugated by America, right? Chinese laborers in San Francisco, you bring them in to build the railroads and then pay them less wages, kill them, all that type of stuff. Then say y'all can't come for 10 years. And then when you're white or European, you can assimilate. You got an Irish name.
Absolutely.
They can join
you can tuck in anywhere.
Tuck in the police. And you know where they went? By and large, Big Irish J taught me this. I didn't even know that. By and large, the Irish went into the police department and the fire department. They often changed their names. Jewish people as well. They came in. They often changed their names. It's easier to assimilate when your skin looks like the skin of the dominant race. Black people, I could change my name to Kevin O'Malley. They're going to be like, what you doing with that Irish name? Nigger. Right? Angel, Josh, we can't assimilate our features or our names and just move in about.
Josh definitely look Mexican.
But he don't look black.
Some people say that. They say I look Mexican.
So now
very Mexican.
Yeah, it's just been it's an oppressive nature.
But bro,
it's an oppressive nature.
Everybody assimilate and just watch. It like gives me flashbacks of growing up and like me trying to finesse my circle and backtrack and be like, oh, you guys never wanted any of us here.
Yeah.
And it's so like baffling to me.
Yeah.
That like today shit still has not changed.
No.
Since y'all came over.
No. And it's this whole, and listen, I'll be honest and admit this myself. I've done a lot of research in the last, but I was woefully unaware of how difficult the path to citizenship was in America.
It's insane, bro.
Until like I did research.
Picked up from immigration appointments, bro.
Josh, like it's literally an oppressive system. There is no right way when people don't really want you to do that. They want you to remain. And here's the rub, right?
What's the rub?
The white business owners, by and large, are the largest employers of the people they're talking about.
Because
100%.
And they want to pay them under the table.
And they get cuts because they get to pay them.
Absolutely. And the truth is they don't want to pay them real wages. They want to pay them under the table because you have to pay real wages and you got to pay healthcare and PTO. If you have these undocumented workers, you can pay them essentially as close to cash or under the table.
Yeah.
So you, in one hand, you're like, deport all the criminals because and deport all these people and put a big show. But by and large, your construction sites, your hospitals, your hotels,
they're showing up to farms in my city without proper warrants, waiting and baiting for somebody to run. Then they can go travel because that's a clause that they have.
Yes.
Or then they can go after them because they're like, oh, it's probable cause. They're fleeing from something.
1000%. And the thing is, capitalism always wins because it's like deport, but also because by white people and black people, we're not going against these farms.
The airlines in 2020.
Delta was the pandemic was 4 days old. It wasn't even a calendar week, and they were like, "You gotta bail us out, nigga. Y'all don't have enough money for a pay period."
Let me tell you, if the brown people decided, you know what, you don't want us here, we're leaving. The campaign to get them back. Come to America, your true home. We would love to have you here. Your true home, where your heart really resides.
Yes. And the thing is, what happens is, I agree with you totally, Angel. You have people who voted not for the betterment of people. I just want other people to hurt more than me.
Yes.
I don't care about, the truth is we should all vote to make things better for everybody, but people don't want that. I want you to be hurt because I'm hurt. If they promise to hurt you more or you more, then I'll feel better. And
I don't think it's that.
Okay, what you think it is?
I think because this is one of the reasons why I do not like to watch the news. It's not so much about, I just want you to hurt more than me. It's somehow they've been convinced that you're hurting less will make them hurt more. It's the thing of the two can't exist at the same time.
Yeah.
That if we allow for there to be for people to seek asylum here, if we allow there to be people who work here that aren't naturalized citizens or people who gain their citizenship, if we allow that to happen, then my life is going to go to hell. I'm not going to be able to get jobs. I'm going to have to pay for them to be here because it is the lie that they attach to their presence is what's making your life worse.
And it's not true. By and large, they pay into a system that they don't often benefit from.
Correct.
They pay into Social Security and all that type of stuff. They're not going to be able to pull Social Security. And those jobs were posted.
Yes.
You ever seen them farmers work? You talk about unskilled labor. You ever watch how many strawberries they pick?
Let me tell you who
you want to go out there and pick oranges?
Fired.
Who's stopping you from that job? You want to work housekeeping?
How many houseless Mexicans do you see on the street?
They be at Home Depot. The jobs they are taking are not being taken by immigrants. They're being taken by doggone automated systems. The parking garage outside, Josh. We've been here 5 years. 3 of those years, a person was taking those tickets. 2 years ago, they revamped it. A system takes those tickets. That's who's taking your job. It's not this person who's picking strawberries. You're not finna go out there and do that.
Yeah, but it's the lie that they've been told, that people have been told, that they buy into.
Same game plan from the beginning of the time.
Yeah, is if we tell you this, you'll believe it. And you won't use your own deductive reasoning to be like, well, no, that doesn't make sense because I didn't want that job. So how did they take it?
Whiteness was created because poor whites, post-slavery, poor whites and poor blacks was living next to each other. Both poor, black people were sharecropping, white people were farming, then white people looking across the field and realizing I'm not that much different than this black person.
Get them in their own equation.
So what can I give you? I'm not going, as a rich person, I'm not going to give you no money. What can I give you? Whiteness. Whiteness alone is going to make you feel superior. And you're going to put these Klan hoods on and go and hurt those black people. Josh, it's this. I mean, if you study history, the doggone game plan has been the same since the beginning of time. The target has changed, right? It's legal immigrants now was black people, Chinese, AI. The target has changed, but the playbook has worked.
The objective is the same.
It's the same. Get these poor people. I still believe Martin Luther King, he could have been advocating for black rights and still been alive today. When he started advocating that the poor people come together, that's when he got dangerous. Because remember, he was trying to gather the Mexican people and all the poor people together. And it's like that scene in Ants, although it's a kid movie. Although it's a kid movie, when the grasshoppers are like, it's just one little ant. And he's like, yeah, but if you let them realize that there's way more ants than there are grasshoppers, then they'll realize they work together. So we got to stop the ants before they realize they are the ants. And that's the same. There's way more. And since the pandemic, the wealth gap, it was already big. It's drastically got bigger. The rich got richer. The middle class ain't middle classing like it is, like it was. And Bezos, Musk, Walmart family. I mean, they're going to space out of boredom. That's how rich they are. Earth is now boring.
It was like your Thursday.
Earth is boring. It was like my Thursday. But if I was so bored that I'm like, I literally can't do anything else with my money on Earth, what's the next? That's why Mars is interesting. They're so rich that the planet is now boring. And if it gets too bad, we need to be able to leave you poor people somewhere else while we go live there. It ain't right.
All right. I love
All right.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,